Welcome inside the Summit podcast series. I'm your host, Nick Birnie, the play-by-play broadcaster for the Mohawk Mountaineers men and women's basketball teams. You can catch all the home games for the Mohawk Mountaineers on M-Link, the YouTube channel, and also we will always be posting game recaps on Ignite News by yours truly to go into a little detail about what exactly is going right and wrong for our Mohawk Mountaineers basketball teams. Today we are having the Mohawk Mountaineers women's basketball OCAA mid-season report. Yes, we have hit the halfway point of the 2016-17 OCAA year, and with that, we want to take a little look back at what exactly has worked and maybe not worked so well for the Mohawk Mountaineers women's basketball team. As we come to the halfway point of another OCAA season, the Mountaineers are once again in the thick of a title race for a fourth straight year. Led by a solid defense that is now ranked 6th in the OCAA and a 5th ranked offense overall, the Mountaineers stand at a 6-3 record as they have come to the end of the first half and now enter a 5-week layoff before resuming action in the second half of the season come January. First, to break down the team's performance through the first half of the season, we will section it off into offense, defense, and surprise first half performances. The offense and defensive categories will be graded A+ through F-, and we will name off a few surprising and stunning performances from the first half this season. To begin on offense, the Mountaineers, through 9 games of play, find themselves as the 5th highest scoring team as mentioned in the OCAA. Now, this has been thanks to a host of different reasons, as well as players. But still, there has been some inconsistency between performances that I'm sure head coach Kevin Duffy would surely like to iron out through the second half. Still, the first half performance on the offensive end as a total has been pretty much a bright spot, considering over the first half of the year, the Mountaineers have been led in scoring over those 9 games by 3 different players. The main leading scorer in 6 of the first 9 games for the Mountaineers has been Sam Pockernick. Pockernick is one of the top scorers in the OCAA at this time, sitting in 7th overall in scoring at 17.4 points per game. She's been the driving force behind one of the top-ranked offenses, not only in points, but also field goal percentage at 38% and free throw percentage at 66.2%. This puts the team 4th and 3rd respectively in those categories, and Pockernick herself is 14th in field goal percentage and 9th from the free throw line in those categories in all of the OCAA. Pockernick has led the way for the Mountaineers in only her 2nd year, and this is following a very short season in her first year due to a pair of terrible concussions suffered just days apart early in last year's season. This all combining to make her start this year that much more impressive for the 20-year-old second-year player. Another one of the major reasons the offense has run so smoothly is the culture Kevin Duffy has built of teamwork and reliance upon your teammates to do their own part in order for success to take place. And this is what has created such a balanced scoring attack, led by Pockernick, and of course backed by solid outside scoring from veterans like Steph Rymack and Shannon O'Neill. Rymack leads the team in 3-point percentage at 34% as the most dangerous outside weapon, and O'Neill is 2nd at a 27% clip. O'Neill has also, like Pockernick, been one of the most consistent at the free throw line this season, shooting a 73.9 percentage. On an offense which shares so many minutes between its players, balanced, consistent scoring is a necessity in order for the team to have success. Secondary scoring has been somewhat non-existent at times in the first few games of the season, with a few efforts against Sheridan and Sioux College leading to a lack of balanced scoring. However, the upturns in offensive performance from O'Neill and Rymack have brought the team up in the rankings, as well as smoothed out their offensive play in their most recent action heading into the break. The 21-year-old Rymack has taken over the leadership role in a team that truly has no set point guard running the system, but her communication on court has been a big part of the quick-found chemistry on offense. Thanks to her performance and the terrific play of O'Neill, who is the leading passer on the team, averaging 3 assists per game, the Mountaineers have been able to find themselves well above 500 and tied for 3rd place going into the break. Their down-low scoring has been consistent, supplied by Hunter Johns as expected, and the unexpected first-year source of scoring of Jasmina Kucic. The two have averaged just below 10 points per game on the season, creating a terrific secondary scoring unit from the forward positions down low, which creates extra issues for the opposing defenses to deal with. Their ability to stretch opposing defenses with their athleticism and quickness up and down the court has been a major key for the Mountaineers this season. Johns, in only her second year, has become a better force inside, using her ability to knock down the 10 to 15 foot jump shot as almost a decoy to allow her more space around the basket. This addition to her game has allowed her to become a better all-around scorer in her second year under Kevin Duffy. Overall, the offense has been given a grade of B+. Room to improve, but still, considering 4 new additions and 6 losses from the 2015-16 Mohawk Mountaineers women's team, this has been a pretty solid start for the Mountaineers offensively through the first half of this season. Now on defense. Through the first 9 games of the OCAA basketball season, the Mohawk Mountaineers have remained vigilant in conceding as few points as possible. As head coach Kevin Duffy has said before, defense wins championships. If the above saying is true, then the Mountaineers have taken note of Coach Duffy's words of wisdom. The team sits currently as the 6th highest ranked defense in the OCAA when it comes to points against at 59.8 per game. To add to that, they sit 6th in opponents' field goal percentage and 4th in opponents' three-point percentage at 32.8 and 20.9% respectively. Also worth noting is the team as a unit sits 2nd in the league in rebounding margin per game at plus 8.6, showing off the talent of the defense as a unit. Leading the charge for the aforementioned 6th-ranked defense is the 4th highest rebounder per game in the OCAA and the leading rookie rebounder, Jasmina Kucic, sitting at 10.1 average. Her stats in somewhat limited action due to head coach Kevin Duffy's usage of his roster makes her rebounding totals even more outstanding through the first 9 games of the season. The 20-year-old rookie from Dundas has been an extremely pleasant surprise and also sits tied for 7th in the OCAA in blocks at a full 1 per game. Already known as an excellent offensive weapon, Sam Pockernick has once started to make herself now one of the tougher players to face on the opposite end for opponents. Her quick feet and active hands have helped her to a team-high 3 steals per game, sitting her 10th in the overall OCAA rankings to the midway point of the season. Another key veteran who has performed dutifully on the defensive end and, as expected, has been one of the best down-low rebounders on the team is 5-year veteran Karina Brown, who is 2nd on the team at 5.7 boards per game while averaging under 20 minutes a game. The overall ranking for the defense is an A, and why? Because the Mountaineers have not been perfect, but they have been as close to defensively through the first half of the season. Only the Humber Hawks, the 9th and final game of the first half, was the first time the Mountaineers failed to hold an opponent under 20 points for at least 1 quarter of a game. Going forward, the Mountaineers will now set to start their second half of the season Thursday, January 12th on the road, where they are 4-1. They will travel to the 6-3 Niagara Knights, who, of course, are 6-3 based off a win they were handed due to some OCAA rulings that forced a win out of the hands of the Mountaineers from their first meeting, which opened up the season way back in October. The Mountaineers will be looking to win in the rematch on the road and get started on the right foot on Thursday night. And with this, will look to improve their road record to hopefully 5-1, considering they are coming off their first road loss of the season in their most recent action and final action of the first half against those Humber Hawks. Following that, the team will make its way home to have its first home game of the second half of the season, which will be played at the David Braylon Athletic and Recreation Center on Mohawk College campus on Friday, January the 20th, a 6 o'clock p.m. first tip. between Mohawk College and Lambton College. Mohawk, of course, had defeated Lambton in their first meeting of the season prior. So for the Mountaineers going forward, a couple of rematches to begin the second half of the season. And as best put by most likely, I would say, Sam Pockernick and Kevin Duffy, they need to look forward. Kevin Duffy had this to say at the end of the Humber Hawks loss, quote, "We look tired both mentally and physically and need to regroup. I think the break is coming just in time. It's a long season, and it seems like we have hit a wall. But hopefully the rest do as well and give us a chance to recharge and refocus as we ready ourselves for the stretch run," end quote. As well, Pockernick seemed to agree that going forward, it's all about what they see in front of them and not thinking about what has already come to pass. Pockernick had this to say, quote, "It is a great opportunity for us to step back and think. We can improve our game individually and collectively as a team in order to be ready for the second half of the season," end quote. The Mountaineers will look forward, hoping that they will improve upon their 6-3 record with 9 games to go in the season. As mentioned, they are in the thick of the playoff race, tied with Niagara College for 3rd in the OCAA West Division. And now they will make their run towards a hopeful OCAA title. 3 straight second-place finishes have set this team up with the right experience to make a charge. Now they just have to bring it to fruition. Thank you for listening again to another episode of the Summit Podcast Series. Again, I'm your host, Nick Birnie. You can follow me on Twitter, as you see on the bottom of your screen, and also make sure to follow me on Facebook. There we go, popping it up. And also on YouTube, considering you're already here right now watching this podcast. And if you're a little bored, you can also find me on SoundCloud as well. And also 101.5 The Hawk. I, along with Kyle Medeiros and Matt McTeer, do our afternoon radio show Mondays, 3 to 4 p.m., The Locker Room, where we talk all sports, including Hamilton Tiger Cats, CFL, Hamilton Bulldogs of the OHL, and of course, your Mohawk varsity sports teams. Thank you for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Take care.